Okay, so just gonna give me a second. Welcome everybody. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about sustainability in Portugal. Most of you probably know the country, have been done events in the country before in many different ways. As you know, mainly destinations tends to be Lisbon, Porto, Algarve. But one of the goals with ECM and being as a company that try to be different every day in the way we do things and offer new possibilities and opportunity to our clients, we start even before the COVID-19 situations to invest a little bit on the sustainability of our country. Portugal is investing a lot in the latest years on becoming more and more sustainable, winning several awards, winning seven certificates in order to offer that facilities to the clients, and also at the end, like everyone, try to make the world a little bit better. So today we bring you here some ideas, some concepts to help you change a little bit the world, make a little bit a better impact in what we do every day with our business. So for us, what is most important? Why be sustainable? It's not because it's trendy only because it's fashionable and it stays good on our books, but we really can make a difference, because when we are sustainable doing our events, we are only using what we really need. We meet our needs. And we also minimize the negative impacts we have in the world. When we analyze everything in advance, when we try to create a program from the beginning until the end that focus on sustainability, there's so many things that we can do to help the world, little things from the beginning until the end. And this way, this helps us also not to compromise the needs of the future generations, for our children, our grandchildren, keep the world floating. Otherwise, soon, like a lot of people said, the world will end, and we don't want that, okay? Also, it always gives the good feeling for the local community and for the participants to do good. People feel good when they do good. And using the being sustainable on your events creates that impact, you know, that positive impact to everyone that is involved. I don't know if all of you know, because most of the times when we talk about sustainability in our events and corporate social responsibility activities, most of people, 90% of people, think about the environment, the nature, and how to help. But being sustainable, it's not only on the part of the environment. There are three main pillars that together they work to bring sustainability to our events. Those three pillars are the social, the environmental, and the economical pillars. And during the presentation, you're going to see these three symbols, the blue, the yellow, and the green, on the different slides that give you the idea of how sustainable we are being with this suggestion. Of course, in the ideal world, we want the three of them to work together, because this is the only way to be 100% sustainability. But sometimes it's not possible. So even if we start doing a little bit of combination of them with our activities, with the restaurants, with the venue, with the transportation, whatever we can, we are already creating an impact, okay? So how can we be sustainable on your events? I'm presenting you here today several options. You're going to see the presentation is quite long, but I'm not going to focus in detail in each slide. Why? Because then I'm going to send you the presentation to all of you, and you're going to have the chance to read it more in detail. But we're going to start with accommodation, then different types of activities, some options of transportation along with those activities, meals, venues, and then at the end, gifts and other measures that we can apply to our events. First of all, before we start on the activities, I just want to place you a little bit where Portugal is in sustainability, and focusing mostly in two regions that are already creating a lot of impact. Portugal itself, it's already considered, at least last year during ITB in Berlin, we won the prize of Best European Destination for Sustainable Tourism. Of course, the entire country is not 100% sustainable, but we are working on that. The Tourism of Portugal created a plan that is already starting to be implemented, and our goal is by 2027 to be on the top 10 most sustainable destinations in the world. And for now, as you can see, if you go sustainabletop100.org, we already have 9 regions of Portugal that are considered sustainable. And some of them are going to be mentioned during the presentation, because I'm not just only focusing on the main destinations like Lisbon, Porto, and Algarve, but the entire country. There are areas and regions of the country a little bit far away from the cities, 1 hour, 1 hour 15, some of them 2 hours the most, but they have really unique options that you can offer to your clients. One of the destinations that I wanted to focus was Lisbon Green Capital 2020. I don't know if anyone knows, but we were officially awarded to be Green Capital during this year. And why that? Because since 2007, we are doing a lot of investment of reducing our emissions. We managed to reduce since then 50% of our CO2 emissions in the city. We also, the energy consumption of the city lights in 23%, the water consumption in the parks and all the rest in 17%. We are applying a clear vision for sustainable urban mobility in the country itself, like creating cycling paths, electric public transportation, and inciting people to walk to work. Why? Because 93.3% of people live 300 meters from a public transportation service. They also live 70% near 300 meters away from green areas, so they can enjoy a lot that part of open air, fresh air, and facilities in the city. Okay, we also have one of the biggest electric vehicle charging points fleet in Europe. We have 39% of the points along the city, and our municipal cars are mostly electrics. Even buses where people use, if you see, most of our buses are already electric. And we also have a huge fleet of bicycles available for use in the city by the city hall, so people can dislocate themselves from one point to another. Okay, another point that I want to mention is Azores. Some of you perhaps already attended my presentation about Azores and how sustainable we can be in Azores itself, but it's never harm to mention again that Azores, it was the first archipelago considered sustainable destination by tourism. Okay, why? Because they invest a lot on their conservation of nature and protection of biodiversity. For example, 25% of the islands are natural reserves and with strict accesses that we only can access with a permit. They have a huge, because they are volcanic islands, the energy production, it's managed and supervised in the island. They also have very strict rules in terms of noise and air quality, waste and water in the islands, in terms of sustainability. They promote a lot and educate the locals and also tourists doing actions along the year, and they are very keen of their indigenous and products heritage of the Azores Islands. That's when you saw, if you see again the presentation of Azores, you see there's a lot of activities, a lot of suggestions that you can only find on the island, and they are very keen on protecting that. Starting on accommodation, just to advance you, I prepared to you, just to have an idea, you have 25 slides of different accommodation. I'm not going to focus on all of them, but just give you a highlight of how diverse and unique we can be. Unfortunately, we don't have a sustainable accommodation, big units with big capacity, but we're going to see that from 10 to 20, some of them can accommodate 100 to 100 people, but there's different options all over the country. We start from tree houses in the north of the country where you can have sustainable lodges in the middle of the forest is also in the north. You have glamping in our biggest mountain in the country, Serra da Estrela. You have villages that you can rent the entire village. This was an abandoned village that was totally refurbished, and now you can rent the entire village and accommodate your group there in the middle of nature with the original architecture. So it's really, really nice. You have also teepees, tree houses near the beaches, surf lodges made of wood, completely sustainable and recyclable, as you can see here. You have Areias do Seixo, which is charm hotels also. This is a unique property, won tons of prizes in terms of quality and sustainable, and it's really close to Lisbon, 50 minutes. In the city of Lisbon, you have 2 conference hotels in Espírito Santa Marta and the Naya Hotel that have bigger capacity with conference facilities, and you can use these sustainable hotels in the heart of the city. And then you have lodges, Cocoon, also many of nature in Comporta. you also have Quinta da Comporta, which is an old estate in the rice fields that was converted in a beautiful boutique hotel with 25 rooms and 18 villas. Amazing property, 100% sustainable, away from the confusions, and also with conference facilities. Really nice place. You have more glampings in the south of Portugal, in Alentejo. You have, for example, Zimar, the Eco Experience, which is the biggest eco resort we have in the country, with 200 bedrooms divided in an 81 hectares estate, with conference facilities, indoor, outdoor pool, and has this amazing feeling of being in the middle of the nature, away from all the confusion. You have Cork hotels in Évora. You have luxury sustainable hotels like the Lenin Village with Michelin star restaurants and an amazing spot to die for. More villages this time a white village that you can rent, exclusive village with 40 bedrooms, and also restaurant and also facilities there. In the Algarve region. You have resorts for yoga and meditation also in the middle of the nature. So the options are 10. This one's in Azores, São Miguel, the Eco Resort of Santa Barbara, a nice property also with direct access to the beach. Furnace Lake Resort, again, in the middle of, inside a volcano crater, which is to die for, to also surrounded by nature and the geysers and the hot springs. Tons of options in terms of accommodation. Talking a little bit about sustainable activities. Of course, most of our sustainable activities focus to mostly outdoors, and you're going to see that 75% of the suggestions here are outdoors, but then again, there's possibilities also if it's raining for us to create things and do things that create the impact we are looking for without being the outdoors. But we can start from the simple ones, canyoning into rivers. We have kayaking, team rafting. We have surf lessons. Portugal is one of the top capitals of surf in Portugal. That amazing trekking, because the landscapes in Portugal from north to south to the islands are to die for, and it's really worth it. We can also combine this with, for example, organic wine tasting in the middle of the nature along the way, or an amazing picnic like you're going to see further down on the possibilities for catering. Really nice to offer. Biking adventures, kite surf, windsurf lessons. This one is one that I love and I did, and I can't wait to repeat it again, which is swimming with the dolphins. You can do it in the south of Lisbon near Comporta, or you can do it in the islands of Madeira and Azores, and it's to die for. They are wild, they live in the ocean, and having the chance to contact with these mammals, it's unique, trust me. Sailing regattas all over the country. You also have, some of you definitely heard about this, but in the cities we have 2 electric experiences that work really well to combine with different types of activities, with treasure hunts, with gourmet tours, even simple as a transportation, which is the Eco Tuk Tours. And these ones we have capacity up to 150 people, and they're really nice, really silent, and the drivers, they are guides of the city, so they tell you a little bit about the places where we go and where we have access. And also the electric trams that you have in Lisbon and Porto, they are part of our tradition, but people don't know they are electric, and they've been electric since 1895. So it's an amazing way also to use as a transportation, as a tour, as an experience. One that I also love too is the possibility of visiting organic farms. So we have a network of organic farms that are spread all over the country and islands, and according where the group is staying, what kind of experience they want to create, with cattle breed, with organic grape harvest, with organic products, with vegetables, with fruits. It depends what you want to create. It's possible to create an experience. And in some of them, and at the time, having the meal with the owners, which is quite nice, and exploring this concept of organic farming. Yogasana paddle, this works pretty much everywhere in the country, but honestly myself, I suggested to do it in the amazing Bay of Cascais, because the waters are calm, the views are amazing, and this is a great to explore your balance, your meditation of your body, and create a unique experience too. Then going a little bit more on the CSR parts, that people tend to like to incorporate in the sustainable events. Portugal, as you know, every year we suffer a lot with fires, and there's always a nice chance for people, if they want to help us, replant our forests from north to south to center, even from the island of Madeira. There's always a need to plant trees. So this is something we can create: a morning, an afternoon, a full day for people to leave this legacy with us. Another one that we love, and it's unfortunately still very present in Portugal, it's the recovering house. House poverty is very strong in Portugal. Unfortunately, we still have communities in this, especially in the suburbs of the cities or in the interior, that all the income they have, it's based to feed their families and to keep them alive. So they tend to neglect their houses. This is a very simple way. For example, we just did one of these cases with an association last January with an English group, and worked really well, because we spent an afternoon with 300 people, painting walls, recovering railways, recovering gardens, and give them a new look and a new hope and a new bright to their lives, only with one afternoon. This is very easy to organize, very simple. Doesn't have to be an extensive work. We can send the teams in advance to work on the house to prepare them, and then the guests come and just finish up. And trust me, the joy and the bright on the people's eyes, it's very unique. And this helped them bring their life back again to a better state. Art with trash is one that we love, that also can be done all over the country. Basically, as you know, Portugal is surrounded by oceans, and we have a lot of beaches, and the ocean pollution is something present in every country that has beaches and have a connection with the water. Even though if we try to call people to attention to this situation, there's always debris coming into our beaches. So here the suggestion is, instead of just going to a beach to connect, to pick up the garbage, why not use it to make pieces of art? These pieces of art can be done in different ways, can be used for centerpieces in our gala dinner, could be used as a unique piece to take back to the company, like a logo, and to be exposed on the company itself. It can also be used as an auction if people want to collect money for a local association. There's many ways to use these pieces of art. One that I love, and it has been, I know it has been seen several times, but it always works, and the smiles on the children's face is unique, is to do a treasure hunt on the city and collect pieces of bikes along the path. So you have steps, you have goals you have to reach, and once you collect the pieces of bike, you put them all together and build a bike to deliver to the children as a local association. This works perfectly close to Christmas time. We did it often, or even during the year, but it's a really nice experience. Upcycling life. This is something that touch my heart, because normally when we do this activity, we do it to elderly people. In Portugal, our population, our elderly population is very high. So we have a lot of people living in elderly homes. Sometimes they only have the basics. They don't have any element of decor. They don't have any thing to bright their daily life. So in here, our suggestion is to put the teams together, take old elements, trash elements normally, and transforming in decoration elements to donate to these people. From plants to candles to key rings, there's tons of things that we can do. And the joy of them receiving these gifts to decorate their house, it's really, really nice. One that is also very unique in Portugal is in Lisbon, there's a place where you can cook with grandmas. So basically, these retired grandmas, they normally are wives of old fishermen, and they lived in a little village near Lisbon on the other side of the river. And we have the chance to visit them and to spend the morning with them, learning their recipes and cook, for example, fish rice, octopus rice, with their own recipes. So most of them, we bring the ingredients fresh from the market, and then we go and cook with them and learn all the secrets they have to tell us and all the stories. This doesn't work for massive groups, normally to 8 to 10 people, but it's really, really a nice experience. Talking about food, again, all the restaurants every day at the moment, they have concepts farm to table. They try to be the most organic possible, and there's tons of possibilities. I didn't put them all here, as you can imagine, just giving you some examples. From normal restaurants in the city, like the Juices restaurant with the concept that is share food and farm to table, to their own catering that they cater all over the city. They can do this kind of catering, all kinds of venues. From picnics that I told you before, they can be adapted to all kind of activities. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, this is blocked. Sorry, I'm recording. So going back to the picnics. So the picnics can be adapted to all kind of outdoor activities. Miolo, it's a supplier that we have in Lisbon that supports us in all kind of events. They can set up pretty much everywhere, and they have this organic mindset, non-waste mindset. So as you can see, everything is used with glass. We have the preparation of the decor and everything with paper, with organic flowers, with wooden boxes, in order to keep the waste as minimal as possible. And the presentation, it's unique, and the taste really yummy, trust me. Then estates like Quinta Santana, which is an organic wine producer and gourmet one. They produce different kinds of wines, olive oil. They also have cheeses, and it's a great place, only 45 minutes away from Lisbon, where you can spend the day, do a picnic in the middle of the vineyards, and have contact with the locals. Really, really nice place. But then places like the House of Wonders, a trendy place in Cascais, they decided to invite local artists to decor the places. They recycle all the furniture that they found to decorate the restaurant itself. The food served there is vegetarian, vegan, and has the concept farm to table. But then to contrast with this kind of relaxed environment, you have places like Carne Viva in Porto, which is a gourmet restaurant that decided to take all the Portuguese main recipes and transform into vegan, vegetarian options. So you have the real Portuguese tastes that you can have from fish, from meat, from our old recipes, transformed in vegetarian options with this kind of gourmet and high-end style. Really worth it. Then talking about different projects. So this goes a little bit away from the concept of the Portuguese food. The Mahara Project, as you know, of European countries received refugees from Syria, from Iraq in the last years. In Portugal, we decided to offer them some new projects to keep their sustainability, of course. And this is a catering project, Mahara, which they can give us a chance to try their own local food. Pretty much until now, they did pop-up restaurants. I tried them once. It's really, really nice. They also do catering for events, and it's a way to help this community and also at the same time try some different food that normally you don't expect when you come to Portugal. Really, really nice project to support. Talking about venues, unfortunately in Portugal we don't have tons of 100% sustainable venues. Of course, most of them have procedures, they have certificates, they have ways to become more sustainable when they do events. And if we rent a place, we can always bring a sustainable catering to make it even more possible to be sustainable. But I'm just want to focus in two of them in the area of Lisbon. One of them that has a social site, which is the Champalimo Foundation. They are part of a research center of the unknown, what they call, where they focus on researching cancer and brain diseases. And every time you rent their spaces, which by the way, they are amazing. They have this unique interior auditorium of 400 people, together with an exterior auditorium with amazing views over the river. And every time you rent this place, you are contributing to the research. So this is a really nice social project. Another place that people tend not to know, it's the Estoril Congress Center. The Estoril Congress Center, it's the only Congress Center in Portugal that is certified as a green venue. It has amazing facilities. It's not a huge Congress Center, but it has a capacity up to 800 people with spaces with different rooms, and is completely green venue. So located in a really nice area of Cascais and Estoril, could be a possibility instead of an incentive when you're talking about a congress to use this venue for your event. Finally, talking a little bit about other measures and gifts, measures that you can apply to all kind of events, like for example, the ReFood. We have agreements with local associations in different areas of the country where we do an advance plan of all the meals going to be served in your event, and they are at the end of the meal, they are collected. We do this coordination with the restaurants, with the venues, with the catering, and all the food that is still viable to be eaten, they are collected by this ReFood company, and they are distributed by local association, by homeless people, in order for them to have a hot meal on that day. Another possibility too that probably you have already said in the area of, on the presentation of Azores that I did, was the decor of your events. There's different ways we can use the decor without being increasing the waste of it, using already planted trees, or using the upcycling life that activity and create plant pots that you can use to decor, or using, for example, vegetables like you see here that then they can be donated for these associations to bring food again. Also very important for us, and it could be due for all kinds of events, it's the reduction of plastic waste. There's many ways. In all the activities, we can have disposable tableware for the picnics. We can use plantable paper for all the communication, badges, menus. We can have individual bottles of stainless steel with water refilling points, so we can reduce the waste of the plastic bottles. And we can also have the recycle of the waste along the entire event. With these cardboard boxes that we can move from one activity to the other one, could be available in every moment of your event for the guests. Also, finally, talking a little bit about gifts, there's tons of possibilities in Portugal. We can explore many different ways according with your brand, according with your needs, according with the client expectations. But I just wanted to highlight 5 or 6 of them here. For example, the handmade soaps that you can sign on the top. They are made all from organic materials, and they're really, really nice quality. The cosmetics that you can see below, they are the only ones. They are 100% made in Portugal, and they have the Green Life EcoCert certificate. The clay handmade bottles with a cork top, that are a product from EPAL, which is our company of water in Portugal. And they are a really nice piece of decor, and also very using the old traditions. For example, for you to have an idea, the shepherds that still exist in Portugal, they always go into the fields with the sheep, and they have a clay bottle with water, because it's the best way, the traditional way to keep the water cool. You have the handmade blankets of burel that are traditional. They are still I don't know how to say the word, but they are still made, handmade with all the old traditions, and the wool is picked up from the sheep, still on a traditional way. So 100% organic and 100% handmade, and helps the communities, because you know, this kind of activities, they are disappearing more and more in the world. And one that is for me the highlight is, you know, Portugal is the biggest producer of cork in the world, and the cork can be used for many things besides the corks on the wine bottles. And using this to do all kinds of materials, from notebooks, from pens, to wallets, to jewelry, to furniture, all kinds of things can be made with cork. It's very durable, it's water resistant, and it's 100% sustainable, because it comes 100% from the trees. Finally, focus a little bit about our gourmet products. In Portugal, there's a huge line of gourmet products that we can use for gifts, from olive oil to wine to jams to cookies to preserves. There's tons of gourmet and gastronomic products, the hand-picked out from the Algarve, that we can combine and make a little box to give to clients. Again, from the beginning until the end, there's ways and tons of ways to be sustainable on an event. And that's it. I hope I didn't take much of your time. Again, keep in mind that this is just some suggestions, some ideas. It's not the whole list because it's impossible. There's so many ways. But then again, we are here totally available to help you explore that options. If you have a concept, if you have a mindset, something that the objective of your client when creating a sustainable event, share with us, give us your highlights, and we'll do the research, because we are here for that. It's to help you find their local knowledge and the local relations to make your event a huge success.
Perfect, Carmo. Thank you very much for this great presentation and for these lovely ideas to show us what is possible in regards to sustainability in Portugal. As far as I learned, Lucas needed to draw his attention to his client, but he has asked me some questions which I will forward directly to you in a separate email.
Okay,
so,
fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for your time. I know sometimes that Carol has some questions.
I'm coming in. Hold on a minute.
I knew there was.
No, I mean, it was a great presentation. I think it was very informative already. But yes, I have a question because, especially when it comes to transport.
Yes.
Is there anything alternatives? Do you have some e-buses or anything?
Unfortunately, that's the issue. We have them public. We don't have them private yet. It's something that we've been asking to our suppliers. At the moment, some of them, they were thinking on investing in that. Unfortunately, I don't know if this investment will go forward with the present situation. But at the moment, the type of transportation we have Twizies, we have the trottinettes, how we say, yeah, we have the tuk-tuks, but it's only to complement inside the city. Of course, we can always pick up people on tuk-tuks from the airport if they want, and we can create that according with the group. But we can minimize if the transfer times are short. If we will consider an event in the city or in Porto and Lisbon, we can combine with different types of electric transportation, from Twizies to tuk-tuks to e-bikes, and create a transportation network that is most sustainable as possible. But if we have to use a bus, it has always to be a petrol bus, unfortunately, at the moment. But we are going there. We're getting there.
You're lucky enough anyway in Lisbon and Porto that you have your tram,
Yes, that's why I suggested tram. Tram can be used as transportation, the tuk-tuks, electric bikes. There's other electric motor cars that can be used, but not big ones, unfortunately, not yet.
Okay. Yeah, other than that, I could see that there's a lot of focus on the south of Portugal, isn't it? On the activities and sustainability.
Well, as you can see, all of them, I've been a little bit more general. They can be placed in each slide you have where they can take place. Most of them can take all over the country. Of course, some of the pictures are from the south, a little bit more bright, but most of them can take place pretty much everywhere. It's according where the client wants to place the event. But one thing that I wanted to mention is, if your clients are willing to travel a little bit more than half an hour, 45 minutes distance from the airport, there's a whole range of possibilities undiscovered that they didn't even hear about it. Accommodation, activities, restaurant concepts that are a little bit away from the main cities, and they are totally worth to explore. And most of it, they are much more cost effective, because they are not as demanded as the other ones. So it's a way, if they are willing to do that sacrifice to travel a little bit further, we can offer amazing, amazing options with a much more cost-effective rate.
Yeah. But if, let's say, I think the majority, and that will remain, I think, for the future, will want to stay in Lisbon and Porto, you have options as having a caterer who does.
Definitely. Most of them are based in the cities, yes. As you saw, you can see the presentation, the picnic suppliers that we use, they are based in Lisbon. Also the catering we use, they are mostly based in Lisbon or Porto. Most of them, because they don't live only from the interior, from the inland of Portugal, so they are based in the cities, and they can cater pretty much everywhere. They can travel 1 hour if they need to do a picnic in the middle of the nature, no problem at all.
Yeah. I think that's the main thing, is that you are able to provide everything what you selected or what you have chosen now, as well in the cities Porto and Lisbon.
Definitely, definitely. The only thing I can't move is if you want a cocoon lodge that is placed in the south of Portugal. Unfortunately, I can't move it to Lisbon, but all the rest I can move it, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, but you have some sustainable hotels as well in Lisbon.
Yes, yes, there are. Bear in mind, all the hotels in Lisbon, they are working towards that. They already have certifications, they have the ISO certifications, they have different kinds. And even if it's not an 100% sustainable hotel, they have measures. And we've been working with them, with Corinthians, with Sanas, with Tivolis. They all have their sustainable managers, but they are not considered a green, 100% green hotel yet because of their infrastructures. They can't. But there's always ways to minimize. And if you're limited to use a hotel that is not 100% green because of certain capacities that you need for your event, we can compensate with other things. We can measure your carbon footprint of the event. We can offer activities, caterings, venues that are more sustainable to compensate one side to another one. There's always a way to explore to reduce as much as possible your footprint on your event.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest challenges we all have, irrelevant if which destination, is obviously to avoid these plastic bottles with the water.
Yes.
I mean, yes, you have these refillable bottles, but the question always comes up where to refill them when you're having a city tour and all that.
But that we can create, definitely. For example, like we have for the city tours, we have the bathroom stops, we have agreements with local suppliers, like a place where we go for eat a little bit of cheese. We have a place there to refill the bottles, a place to go to the bathroom. This is totally possible if the client, the only thing is, don't make that stop you wanting to be sustainable. Because if you want to do it, and if you're willing to invest a little bit of being in doing, we will find the network to support that. No problem at all. Yeah, and very much, for example, in Lisbon, it's one of the best drinkable waters in whole Europe in terms of quality. So tap water here, it's really, really nice, really good quality. In Azores, you can fill it up from a creek on a waterfall that you're passing because of the quality. Again, just open your mind a little bit, focus on passing that message, and we'll make it happen.
Okay, I think I have all the questions answered.
Thank you.
Norman,
fantastic.
From your side?
Answered. I took notes.
Great, fantastic. So, but any questions you have, any ideas, anything that you need, just let me know. And we'll be glad to help you on that. Okay.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carmo, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Easy meetings.
Thank you
For attending, and